Well, we're going to we got some questions for our advertising spotlight. If you could sit in on this, Mike, because you know he actually is a friend of yours. So let's jump on that, and then
yeah, we'll pass it on over to Mike
pass it
Young.
on over to Mike
I
Young.
have a question for him. I was just wondering, you know, his years of race and what his nickname was. You ever have a nickname?
The Godfather. I heard him earlier
Which
today
one?
telling.
I think he is like the godfather of four-strokes in motocross, right?
Something like that.
He's the Godfather of big gun exhausts.
That's
right?
for sure.
Mike's trouble, that's all I'm telling you, dude. Can I flip that around?
Absolutely.
You can get that online?
Absolutely.
You want Mike to hold it or something?
Yeah, sure. We can get some pictures of him. We'll throw that up on the Toxic website, and you can download them and, you know, do whatever with them. But, yeah, you know, we invited Mike on here because, A, he knows Mike Metzger, which is nice, but he also is the founding person that came up with, now this is your own design, or what makes Big Gun Exhaust what it is? I know you've actually kind of partnered up or sold to with Streamline Brakes, but other than they look sick, what makes them special?
Well, kid, it's interesting because, like Mike said, it's like I turned from a two-stroke guy back in my era to a four-stroke guy, and said, you know, kind of tired of beating myself up. I'd rather race like 6 times a year and make the same amount of money.
Right.
So I decided to do that. Some kicks to Europe and back, and then '96 came back here and rode for a company called Husaberg at the time, which to this day, that was probably the coolest four-stroke ever made. It still weighed a lot, probably what, more than two strokes probably.
Yeah, yeah, four-strokes have came a long way.
It was we call them boat anchors in my era, so they were pretty gnarly. But the cool thing was I got a chance to experiment with stuff that nobody else really wanted to ride, and I became the guy, the four-stroke guy, and I ended up in '96 winning 2 national championships, my first AMA championship ever, so I actually have an AMA national championship. So then the next year I was up here at Glen Helen, our local track that Mike's ridden with me probably hundreds of times before, and just a miscalculation, crashed, got paralyzed, and started the next sector of my life. So laying in bed, and a couple guys called and they said, hey, you want to start a business? I'm like, yeah, what are you thinking? So let's do something, you know. I'm not going to lay around here. What's up? So we, this Big Gun name actually came from a motorcycle I rode for American Honda, and they called it the Big Gun, Mike Young's Big Gun, XR628, and it was a pretty much a big gun, handful of like 400 pounds, it felt like. Wow. But it was an amazing motorcycle. It was like back in that era, so this thing's weigh like, you know, they're boat anchors big time. And this bike was a desert trail bike we turned into a motocross bike. It was probably the fastest thing I ever rode. I mean, it would rip. You remember the days when your pants would like pull down because it had so much power on the bike? I had that all the time. I'm like, I'm going to have to get a belt or something around here to hold these pants up. But that's where the namesake came from. And, you know, 13 years later, we turned it into one of the, I mean, I'm very blessed and very grateful. It's one of the biggest brands. I just kind of got to a point last year, a lot of stuff going on with the economy and everything. I said, you know, I'm pretty much going to step back a little bit and not do this.
You got about 1 minute.
1 minute?
1 minute, yes. We'll have you back in.
No, no big deal. Well, anyways, long story short, so I sold the business, and Streamline Brakes bought it, and I still work there. And we put all my national championship experience into it. We've got the best engineers we can, and we don't build a pipe for like the big race teams. We build a pipe for the average guy, but he gets a race pipe instead of a trail bike pipe. And our pipes just come fully equipped, ready to go out of the crate. They've got spark arresters, they need sound, and they're cost effective. So we've got a new line called the Eco that's $230 for a slip-on exhaust pipe, and that's going to be the rage because, yeah, in this economy, you got to have something. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, and they can you can always get more information on your website, which is biggunexhaust.com or streamlinebrakes.com. And we want to thank you for coming in, Mike, and Mr. Metzger. Thank you so much. We're going to blow up your Akatia show next week as well, so we'll keep spreading the word. Once in a lifetime chance, folks. Get out to Akatia Wells on the 18th and 20th. Ride with the madman himself. It's going to be a sick weekend. I'm going to be there.
Yep.
Day 0, Pickaxe. We got a couple other bands. It's going to be a party. So get on off your butts and get those trailers out. Let's roll.
Between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning, meet at the Blue Inn, and I'll be waiting for anyone who wants to go on that trail ride. So
follow the leader if you can.
That'll work, and let y'all know we're going down to Angel Sports Bar right now. We've got Cold Wire Mood Shifter in Silence, but we're going to go down there and party, and For all you guys right now got nothing to do, it is attached to a strip club.
You're listening to Toxic Underground Live. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Peace.
Right.